Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time it's going to be Clank Solo using the Sunken Treasures expansion. So we have here the Sunken Treasures board, which has some water spaces on the bottom. I'm not going to go over the rules per se, because I already did a Clank playthrough where I think I explained everything fairly well. I will be using the app for this playthrough. So there's a solitaire mode, and it's an iOS or iPad application that's free. It's called Renegade if you're looking for it. So if you're looking for Clank, you probably won't find it. But look under Renegade Studios, I think, and you'll be able to find the app. And the app also runs Fuse and Clank in Space, a bunch of other things. So it's pretty cool. So we'll be looking at that for setup. I've done most of the setup already. And instead of using the yellow meeple, I will be using the little rogue D&D adventure figure for the playthrough, just for no reason other than I think it's kind of a cool miniature. Alright, so like I said, not going to explain the setup. It will be like my other Clank playthrough, except this one has the application running in the background, kind of giving you quests you need to do. And there's one little last thing for setup we'll do, but we'll look at the app when we do it. So I'm going to zoom down on the cards that are available for purchase, which are right here. There's 6 of them. And of course, we always have Mercenaries, Explore, Secret Homes, Goblins, and with Sunken Treasure, I might as well show you this quickly. We also now have a Goldfish. We can attack. We can only fight him when you're in a flooded room. And when you defeat him, you get 3 gold, but it's 3 swords to beat him. The Goblin, as we know, takes 2 swords to beat him and gives you 1 gold. And can be fought anywhere in the sunken rooms or in the regular rooms. So the board is slightly different. There's double-sided, of course. This, I think, is the easier side. The other side has a pirate ship on it. But we'll be using this one. And there's a couple of extra symbols on the board. There's the flipper symbol here underwater. If you get the scuba gear, which is a purchasable item from the market now, it lets you go across the water spaces for 1 movement point. If you don't have scuba gear, then it's going to take you 2 movement points. So that's one addition. The other thing for the Sunken Treasure, if you start your turn in a sunken or a flooded room, you must come up for air during your turn. If you don't, you're going to lose a health just because you're suffocating or not getting enough oxygen. All right, let's look at the first 6 cards that are for purchase. And then we're going to go through the app, finishing up the solo setup, and then we're going to have a turn or 2 for this episode. All right, I hope this is clear enough. I'm just going to read the cards here. So we have Grand Plan, costing 2 influence, or oh my god, I forget what it's called. It's the purchase power for the game. Isn't this awful? Play too many games, can't remember all the details and everything, and don't read over the rule books all the time, all the way through for every playthrough I do. So that's our purchasing power. When you acquire this card, you're going to get 2 gold. Gives you 2 gold when it comes up. It's Grand Plan, and it's worth 7 victory points if you have at least 3 market items. So market items are like crowns, backpacks, keys, and scuba gear. We have the Silver Pearl. Discard a card and draw 2 cards. And when you acquire this card, it's going to cost you 2 Clank. We have Bracers of Agility, which I really like. Just to straight up draw 2 cards, costing 5. Sorry, this one costs 5, 3, and 5. The purchase price is on the bottom. This is what it gives you when you play it in your hand. We have the Rebel Captain costing 3. Gives you 2 purchase power. It says if you have another companion in your play area, draw a card. We have the Rebel Scholar costing 2. Draw a card straight up. If you have another companion in your play area, draw another card. And we have a Crystal Golem. You can only fight him in a crystal cave. Gives you 3 purchase power, but it costs you 3 swords to smack him down. And you can see just off to the corner here my iPad with the app running. So let's take a look at that next. And we're going to finish up the setup, and then I think we're going to get into some turns. All right, so I've kind of angled the iPad here. I'm trying to get as little glare as possible, but of course you're seeing reflections and stuff. It's kind of annoying, but I think it's probably good enough. So we can see here there's a solo mode, there's a multiplayer mode. You can actually play the game multiplayer using this. It gives you quests and things that you need to do along the way. Very cool. Also has a lieutenant twist in it, helping protect the dungeon. We're going to be doing solo though, so we're just going to hit Clank Solo. Boom. And we will pick the yellow meeple, but of course we're going to be using the little D&D miniature. So we assign the yellow, whoops, I guess that's how you, so Clank Solo. Now it says remove the following artifacts from the game. So we're going to get rid of the nice bunches of bananas. They're going to go away. And the 25. So these are going to be removed from the game. So I'm not going to place those out onto the board, but all the other ones will get placed. And I'll do that kind of off screen because you probably don't want to see me putting them all on. So we say OK. Single minor secrets. So place only one minor secret on the minor secret spaces. Keep all extra minor and major secrets nearby. So we're only putting one down instead of two, which is a regular game. Did that already. Place the dragon on space number 2. Already done. And keep the red pawn and cubes nearby as a threat. Place 3 threat cubes in the Clank area alongside your starting cube. So we put 3 for ourselves for first player. We're the only player solo. And we're also going to put 3 red cubes in the Clank area. And you saw that in the sort of opening shot. That's already set up as well. Okay, so this tells you how solo questing works. I hate the glare and the reflection. Sorry about that. I can't do too much about it except turning all the lights off, and that becomes a real pain in the bottom. So sorry for the glare on the iPad screen. Solo questing, it says quest complete. When you finish a quest, you're going to hit complete. After your turn is over, you tap this before refilling the dungeon row. Oh, okay, I've been doing that wrong. After your turn, so when you buy things, tap this before refilling the dungeon row. Oh, okay, no, you actually finish your turn by refilling the dungeon row. Then you're going to hit next turn. It tells you which cards to remove. I do believe that's how that's supposed to work. Although reading it now, it sounds a little bit ambiguous. After your turn. Yeah, your turn is over when you refill it. Before refilling the dungeon row. Confusing, because you refill the dungeon row, then you hit next turn. I'm already confused, but I'll play it the way I have been playing it, which is I refill the dungeon row. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bottom. Then I hit next turn, because when you hit next turn, it tells you which cards to remove. But if you've already taken cards out of here, then you won't be able to remove them. So I'm going to have to do some thinking about that before I play the game again. Threat cubes are drawn from the bag and placed on the threat track. And when all 10 red cubes come out, you're going to hit 10 threat achieved. It's going to start the final countdown of the game. So we're like, okay, we know what's happening. We hit OK. And we begin the game. A current quest, clear the first card in the dungeon row. And you have 3 turns to do it. So basically the first card in the dungeon row is Grand Plan. So we need to come up with 5 purchase power to buy Grand Plan. And we have to do it within 3 turns or we'll lose. So basically we're going to be taking our turn now. When we're finished our turn, we're going to hit next turn and the app will tell us what to do. So let's get onto the board, and we're going to draw up our 5 cards for our starting hand. We have a starting deck of 10 cards. Well, let's begin the solo playthrough. Oh, and I must say my high score so far using the app Solo Play is 162. So of course I will be trying to beat that, and I'll probably end up with like 50. All right, let's go to the main board and take a couple of turns. All right, so let's begin. So I have my starting deck of 10 cards, and we're going to take 5 cards off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry for the glare again. And we're going to have a look and see what we've got. We have Sidestep, which gives us 1 movement. We have Burgle, Scramble, which gives us a movement and a purchase power. And we also have Stumble, which gives us 1 clank. So we're going to play the Stumble. We're going to have to add a clank to the clank area up there. So now we have 4 in there, 3 red. And then we might as well just know it won't matter which order we play these cards. So we're going to end up with 3 purchase power and 2 movement for our turn. So for the 2 movement, we're just going to go here. We're going to go 1 and 2. Into the dungeon we go. Yes, we should be the yellow meeple, but I've replaced them with that. I hope you can see that. Probably the yellow will show up better, but we'll keep the little character there, dungeon character, D&D. Representing us. So we're starting our way into the dungeon. We also have 3 purchase power. Very quickly, what I'm going to do with the 3 purchase power, so I'm going to buy an Explore because it has a movement and another 2 purchase power, costing 3. So we're going to get an Explore card. We're going to put that in our discard pile. And very quickly, that's the end of the first turn. So very quickly, because we have starting cards, so we're going to discard all of our cards. We're going to be drawing up 5 new cards, of course, which is what we have left. that'll be our next hand. And I forgot to put these tokens out on the board. So before we hit next turn, we'll be putting out the treasures. All right, let's continue. We're going to go back to the app now, and we're going to hit next turn because our turn is finished. All right, so the app tells us basically what to do. So we finished our turn. We're going to hit next turn. Boom. And you can see here it tells us to get rid of card number 6. Crystal Golem goes away. I'm going to put the discard sort of up here sideways. Trash the 6th card in the dungeon row. Did it. So we're going to be replacing it. And let's hope we don't get a dragon symbol. And we don't. We end up getting the Apothecary. Ooh, cool. Costing 3. Discard a card to choose one of the following. Get 3 attack or 2 gold or a life. Wow. Very cool card. Like it. All right, we're going to be putting that into the offering in area number 6. Now we're just going to go okay. Now we have 2 turns to get the grand plan. So let's hope we can get this within 2 turns. Do quest completed. It's going to give us a reward. If we fail it, it'll give us a penalty. All right, back to the board. We're going to have another turn or 2 or 3, and let's continue on. All right, so continuing on for another turn, we are going to be looking at our cards again. And what we have now is, of course, the lovely Stumble. We have Burgle, 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 and Burgle. So we have 4 purchase power, but we have to add a cube to the Clank area. We're making a lot of noise here. We have 4 purchase power, so let's go back to the purchase area and decide what it is we want to get. And I think I'm gonna, without even having to go there, I think I'm just gonna get another Explorer for 3, leaving me 1, but there's nothing to purchase for 1 because I really like the movement and I like that 2 purchase power. So we're gonna get another Explorer, and that's basically the end of our turn. So very, very quickly. Of course, we had no movement that time, so we couldn't go anywhere. We're still at the very top of the dungeon. Back to the app, and let's see what it's got to say this time. All right, onto the app again. Next turn. Ooh, okay. Oh, man. All right, so it gets more and more brutal. So this time we're going to remove the 3rd. Darn it! The Bracers of Agility. I really wanted that. Card number 3. And the Rebel Captain, number 4. They get dumped. If any of them are worth victory points, which they were, we have to add 2 Clank. Oh my god, this is brutal. So we're going to add 2 more Clank. We now have 2, 4, 6. We have 7 Clank up in the Clank area. That's really bad. And of course we're going to have to remove replace these cards. Now we only have 1 turn to buy the grand plan. The 2 cards we're going to be replacing are the Rebel Soldier. Okay, he's to attack. If you have another companion in your play area, draw a card. So there's lots of companion cards coming out here. What else do we have? And we also have a Watcher. We still don't have the dragon icon, so the dragon is not going to attack. And it says, arrive. All players get +1 Clank. So we have to add another Clank. Oh my god. But when we defeat him, we get 3 gold, and all other players get a Clank. And I don't know if we add a red. If we do that for threat, I don't think we do for the solo, because we don't have any other players. We're the only player. All right, it costs 3 swords to get rid of him. Ouch. So that was our app telling us basically what to do, and we have to buy card number 1 this turn or we're going to fail this quest. So once again, let's have probably a couple of turns and see how we do. All right, so I've reshuffled all my cards, and we're going to draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's hope we have 5 purchase power. If we don't, we're not going to be able to get card 1, and we're going to fail that first quest. We have a Stumble, a Sidestep. Oh man, we failed it. All right. Well, we have Stumble. That's going to add another Clank. If you look up here, you can just see the yellow is unbelievably piled up in there. We're going to have no special text on any of the cards. We're going to have 2 movement, and we're going to have 3 purchase power. So let's go ahead and do our 2 movement first. And I think, what do we want to do for 2 movement? I think we're going to head down in this direction. So this is 1 movement here. We're going to get this little mini thing. Ooh, this gives us 2 purchase power. Oh, that is just exactly what we needed. Now we can go here for a gold, or we can go here for a big, I think we're going to go here, and we're going to grab this large thing, and it's worth 5 gold. That's awesome. So we're going to get 5 gold. So we got 5 gold and 2 purchase power. That is really, really good stuff. And I'm going to discard these out of the game. All right. Wow, that was really good. So we moved our 2, and we have 5 purchase power. So we're going to go ahead for 5, and we're going to buy the Grand Plan. And when we acquire it, we get 2 gold. So all of a sudden, we now have 7 gold, which is just enough to buy a market item. Excellent stuff. And it's worth 7 if you have at least 3 market items at the end of the game. So that's why there's a question mark here for point scoring. So very cool. 7 gold, and we have just purchased card number 1. So as soon as we purchase card number 1, we have to go to the app and we have to say quest completed. Let's have a look and see what it has to say when we do that. All right. Well, it's basically the end of our turn, but we did complete the quest. Wow, we got so lucky, but hey, that's part of this game is luck, and the other 1% is skill. So we're going to say quest completed. Boom. -2 Clank. So that is excellent. We've been putting so much Clank in there. We have -2 to come out. Now we are going to go to our next turn because we used up all our movement and whatever. Now, how I've read the rules here is it says you do not refill this until you've done the app. So card number 1 is still missing. How I was playing this previously is I'd replace the card and then go to next turn. And I don't think that's correct. I think what you're supposed to do is leave anything blank here that you've already purchased. Then you hit next turn and it will tell you what to do. So that's what we're going to do. If that's incorrect, please leave a message in our comments on the video, and so everyone knows that's how it works. But the way I read that, it basically said you do not replace the offering here until you go on to the next turn at the end of your turn. So somewhat confused by it, but let's just go ahead and say next turn. Now it's telling us to remove card number 4 and 5. Oh man, so 4 is the Watcher. The Watcher goes away, and 5 is the Rebel Scholar. Kind of wanted that card too, but that's what the app does. It robs you of cool cards, but we still do have the Apothecary here, which I really like. So basically now we're going to say, now we're going to replace the cards in the offering. Pretty sure I saw it moves. So we have the Overlord. Arrive. All players get +1 Clank. No. When we defeat him, we draw 2 cards. He costs 2 to attack. Okay, well, that's not too bad. So, but we do get a Clank. So we get -2 for completing the quest. We have to add another Clank, and that's not good. No dragon symbols yet. All right, we get the Wand of Recall. If you have an artifact, teleport to an adjacent room. Ooh, that is really cool. That is a good thing for getting out of the dungeon at the end. And the last card, oh, also not a dragon, is a Medic. All right, we have a Companion. Discard a card to gain a health. Ooh, that's also pretty awesome ability, as well as the Apothecary. But of course, the app will probably knock cards out. All right, there you have it. So we're going to go to OK. It's going to give us a new quest. Clear the 5th card in the dungeon row within 3 turns. So we're going to have to buy the Medic within 3 turns. He costs 2. Should be no problem to do that. Then we'll get, of course, another quest completed. I think I'm going to do a couple of more turns. Probably, well, maybe just one more turn, I think. And that will be long enough for this introductory episode. So let's go back to the main board. I'm going to do one more turn, and then we're going to call it an episode for today. All right, one final turn for me this episode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I did go onto Board Game Geek and do a bunch of searching around the net for how the app works. You actually don't fill up the dungeon row until you hit next turn. So normally when you take a turn, you buy cards out of the dungeon row, you replace them immediately. While using the solo app, you actually don't do it. You hit the next turn first, it tells you which cards to remove, then you fill it back up. Just to clarify, so now everyone will be aware of that. All right, my next turn is going to be a Stumble a Burgle, Explore, right? We got a couple of Explorers. That is most excellent. So we have 2, 4, 5. We have 6 purchase power. We do have a Stumble, though. We have to play that. No way around it. Wow, we have so much Clank. We're making so much noise. We need some cards that eliminate Clank, and I don't see any. So we're going to have 2, 4, 5. We're going to have 6 purchase power, 2 movement. Let's take a look at our 2 movement. And where are we going to go with 2 movement? We have a lock here, so we can't get over that crystal cavern. We could get into this crystal cavern, or take the... Really, I think we're going to go back this way. We're going to go 1, 2, ending in the crystal cavern. That gives us a gold coin, because in this crystal cavern, there, of course, is a gold coin. You have to end your movement in the crystal cavern. That we only had 2 movement anyway. So now we have 2, 4. We have 6 purchase power. Let's go and see what we can buy for 6. And then we'll hit the next turn, and that will end off our episode for today. All right, I already have a couple of Explorer cards. I don't think I want any more of those. I'd really like the Silver Pearl, but it adds 2 Clank, and that is just brutal. And Wand of Recall is really a good thing to have, but once again, costing all of our was 5. We only have 6. I think we are going to pay 3 for the Apothecary, which costs 3. Discard a card, and you can choose one of the following: 3 attack, 2 gold, or a life back. I like that card a lot. We have 3 left. We could also get the Medic, and it says, and I should mention, when these cards say discard a card, you have to do that when you play this card. You don't have to play the card, but we have to do this when you play it. So if we play this, we're going to have to discard a card to make this happen. So I think it's probably not a bad decision. We have 3 left. We can get another Explorer, we could get a Mercenary maybe, or we could pick up the Rebel Soldier. I think we're going to pick up the Rebel Soldier for 2. He's 2 attack, so he's like a Mercenary, but he has another ability. It says if you have another companion in your play area, draw a card. Well, we do have another companion, just a matter of if they come up at the same time. So, we don't refill this now at the end of our turn. We actually hit next turn first. So we didn't clear the 5th card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was the Medic. Maybe we should have to complete this, but I don't think we're going to bother. I think we're going to hit next turn. We can get this guy our next turn. We still have 3 turns to do it. So we finished. Next turn, we get rid of 1 and 2. Wow, are we going to have a dragon attack? Very, very likely, because we now have 4 cards to refill. So card number 1 is a teleporter. We can spend 4 and use it, teleport to an adjacent room. That's pretty cool. Second card is a shortcut. Gives us a movement. +1 Clank. When you discard this, you get 2 movement. Acquire gives you a movement. So how does that work when you discard this? Oh, if you have a card that says discard a card, you can get 2 movement for discarding this. Ooh, alright. But you don't have to play a Clank when you don't play it, but just discard it. We have the Cleric of the Sun. Acquire gives you a life back, gives you 2 and 1 attack for 3. Still haven't had a dragon. Oh my god, it means we're going to get about 20 in a row. And we still didn't get a dragon attack. Wow. And this is a purchase power, a movement, and draw a card. And that ends our turn, so we're going to say okay. Again, we have 2 turns to finish up with our quest, which is purchasing the Wand of Recall. Wow, 1, 2, oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. By purchasing the Medic. Well, I think next time we will purchase the Medic. Yeah, I think we will to complete the quest. And that's going to be end of our playthrough for today. So this is solo Clank, using the Sunken Treasures expansion, using the Clank app, of course. And you saw there at the beginning the setup of it. Very cool app. I like it. It's actually adds quite a bit to the, of course, solo game if you're playing solo. If you're playing with others as well, they have the multiplayer, which is really cool addition as well. So thanks so much for watching along. This is Clank Sunken Treasures with the solo app. Hope you're enjoying it. So thanks so much for your comments, your subscriptions, your likes. Really do appreciate it. Join me next time for the continuation of Clank Sunken Treasure Solo.